Rise and shine real life, welcome back to another video. Today we are talking about tips for running a school assembly. Now the other day I found myself in a scenario where I was giving a talk / lecture or whatever you want to call it to 100 students at a time. I spoke to some year 9s and I also spoke to year 10s. Now throughout the day I spoke to a few teachers and they were all asking a very similar question.
How can they do better at doing school assemblies?
What? Teachers asking me? So I was thinking that if teachers are struggling, then maybe young people are also going to struggle in the future if they find themselves in a situation where they are talking to a year group or 2 year groups or whatever. So if you are from that talk or assembly or whatever you want to call it, hi. And with that being said, let's break down what I did to make my assembly better than your average assembly lecture thingamabob. Yeah. But before I get on to the 3 tips that I have compiled, I think it's wise that I tell you exactly what I brought to the lecture. I took this inflatable microphone to the talk thingamabob. I also took this trans flag to the thingamabob. And the only other thing that I really took were some sunglasses. These were the exact ones that I took with me. Walla boop. That's right, I didn't take a laptop, I didn't bring some sort of presentation. It was just me with those 3 items. That's it. That's all I actually took. But you may be like,
Hannah, so, what was your lesson plan?
I literally just wrote like 5 bullet points. I know you can't see, but there are 5 actual bullet points on this. Yeah, I just took 5 bullet points on a piece of paper. That was my lesson plan. And I think with that being said, let's start with my first tip.
Being relatable.
Within the first minute or so of the lecture thingamabob, talky thingamabob, we'll just call it a thingy for ease of purpose and thingamabobs like that. I got my inflatable microphone and I got the young people to ask me random general questions. I was kind of hoping for a bunch of random colours like,
what's your favourite colour? What are you doing? Who are you?
That didn't happen. I'm guessing that they were a little bit awkward and a little bit like, what is going on? I know, I give that vibe off a little bit. Hi microphone, how are you today? But I knew that they weren't really going to be asking me any proper questions because to them, I was a complete and utter stranger. And I kind of wanted that because it was kind of an undertale for the rest of the talk. Knowing that it was going to create this awkward atmosphere, I knew that I needed to go on to something to bring this awkwardness level down. So to lighten the mood, I said that I wanted to ask them a few questions, and this is kind of how it went down. So who here knows anything about Fortnite? At which point everyone was like, ooh. If you do play Fortnite and you don't want to admit it, make sure you use my support creator code. Anyway, who here uses social media? At this point, a load of hands went up into the air. That's good. And who here uses Instagram? Make sure you follow me on Instagram. Okay, anyway, hi. And who here knows about James Childs? And at which point the entire crowd erupted. And anyone here a Jake Paul fan? And the energy in the room started to build even more. I can see some teachers saying, Jake who? What? James? Jake Childs? James Paul? What? Don't worry, teachers, I'll save you that one. Just don't look it up. Just don't go there. And for that to start the entirety of this thingamabob, it really allowed the young people to relate more to me and disconnect with school and kind of have that more personal connection now that they knew just a teeny little bit more about me. Now, another thing that I did to be a lot more relatable was to talk about life when I was their age. Now, for me, it's not that difficult because that's only a couple of years ago and I still get nightmares and I still get haunted by the teacher's words and yeah, life is good. But it's really important that they understand that you know exactly what life was like and how they must feel And I understand, like, if you're, like, 50 or older, the young people are going to be like, but when you were my age, they weren't doing this and phones weren't what, and yeah. My second tip is to be engaging. To be engaging, it's not always about being passionate about what you're talking about, it's also having an energy behind what you're talking about. For example, if I was to make this video a little bit like this with no energy and not really too much enthusiasm about what I'm saying, it's not going to be that engaging. But if you have energy, you're going to build energy. And having a lot of energy with the young people, it really helps the person talking, myself like as an example, to bounce off of that energy, and it's just gonna keep building. And having the young people have an energy is gonna make them want to engage more in what you're saying. They're going to want to answer questions. They're wanting to be volunteers for what you have in for what you have in mind and planned. Also, side note, embracing the mistakes. Like, I carried on that sentence for comedic value, and having that ability is very, very good, especially when talking to young peoples. I feel like young peoples is a really, like, rude term to say. I do apologize if I'm insulting anyone. I know that we're fully grown adult and we can do what we want to do. I feel so bad. I feel like I'm being rude. I remember when I was younger, it was so awkward to, like, put up your hand and say, hey, speaker, I have a question. And I had this anxiety, and that's where I kind of want to lead this next section of engagement, and that is kind of just getting the teachers involved. Yes, I said it, as a guest speaker, this is your room, you can do what you want.
And as long as you're not going to get fired or sued by the teachers, that's a thing that you probably should try and avoid.
But getting the teachers and building an energy around the teachers definitely is very good. Because when I was doing my thing in front of all these people, the energy got to a point and teachers were like, shh, everyone shh. And you want to know how I responded? Teachers, be quiet, shh. Kids, feel free to carry on talking as long as it's relatable to this topic. You should have seen some of the teachers' faces, it was hilarious. I managed to get the teachers on stage by using the energy and literally saying to young people, hey, young people, what teacher would you like to see being a volunteer? At which point, everyone was like, this teacher, this teacher, this teacher. And honestly, that was a great highlight of the time. When I got the teachers on stage, I had a teacher insult a student, I had a student insult a teacher, I had two teachers insulting each other, and a teacher insulting another teacher with the teacher not responding. Don't worry about the details, it was fine. It was all like a teacher insulting a child. I feel like no one's going to invite me to do an assembly again. And I think another factor to be really engaging is using the space that you have, may it be a little podium or whatever. Get rid of that. I've seen these things. These are like podium thingamabobs with a microphone, and you're just like, so everyone today, be quiet, yeah. So today I'm doing a talk. If there's a podium, you want to just get rid of it and just perform. Use the entirety of the space, because no one wants to be looking at a person standing still and just talking to people about topics. Maybe some people are into that more. It's kind of not my brand though. Like, I think you get the idea by now, talking direct to a camera. If I'm not being physical, I look more awkward than most things.
Like a potato. I look more awkward than a potato sometimes.
But the most important thing about doing a assembly or a thingamabob for kids and young people and teens and students or whatever is to listen to them. Honestly, you expect a talker person to just stand there and talk? And to think that the young people are finding that fun? If someone puts up their hand and says, I've got a question, or just leaves it hanging or whatever, stop what you're saying and go, yes, what is your question? And answer it. Don't wait until you finish what you're saying. People are going to be like,
I've got a question, Topics moved on. Okay, I'll put my hand down, doesn't matter. No one please look at me awkwardly. I didn't have my hand up, I promise.
Because that was the situation that I was in a lot. There was topics that were going on when I was a young person, and I was like, I've got a question, the teacher's now moved on, I don't have the confidence to carry on and go back to that because I don't want to bring attention to myself because I am fabulous. Can anyone else relate to situations like that, or is that just me just being so awkward at school? But once you've got a question and it's extremely difficult, don't just say, I don't want to answer that question. Next question. And to throw it into an example of what happened when I did this talk, someone was putting their hand up. I say, yes, question.
What was your old name before Hannah?
Awkward potato. But in all seriousness, I got my inflatable microphone and I said to the young person, trans people don't necessarily like talking about their old names. Now, I'm not saying that your question is bad or I've been offended, because trust me, I'm not offended. It's a good question, but I don't feel comfortable answering it, and a lot of trans people probably may not answer that question because it is something quite personal to them. Now, I'm not going to say the entire response because I'm pretty sure that some of you know where that's going. I also tried not to make the young person feel bad, because I remember at school putting my hand up and just getting told, no, that's the wrong answer. No, that's the wrong answer. And I kind of built this thing like, actually, I'm not going to put my hand up because people are just going to say I'm wrong. They're never going to say I'm right, and maybe I should just put my head down and focus on what I'm trying to do. But sadly, that is the end of today's video. If you have any questions about school assemblies or talks or thingamabobs like that, I know that my area is a little bit different to most. I know that some people like book authors and some people can be doctory people. Not all of them are just going to be talking about their life, which is kind of what I do. Kinda. Depends on what I've been asked to do, but kind of that's being like a common theme over the many years that I've talked to schools and teachers and thingamabobs like that. Anyway, with that being said, that really is the end of the video. Remember, as always, to like, comment, and subscribe. I will see all of y'all soon. And on that note, goodbye. I'm out of breath. Goodbye.